Nobody's listening, right? Hi, Andy.
Hello.
Is anybody listening?
Yes, Liza Kate from the United States.
US of A.
I'm listening. Holy smokes, what a fantastic podcast. Thank you. I somehow feel more human and connected as I listen. Love. So happy to have found this. That just made my day.
Oh, more human and connected. That's great. That's what we strive for.
More human.
If you're just
more connected.
If you're tuning in for the first time, let me let you know that this podcast is basically myself and my handsome husband, Andy, talking about whatever we would be talking about if nobody were listening.
It's true.
Now, if you guys want more of this podcast, go check us out on patreon.com/nobody's listening right for a monthly bonus episode. And I also have to say, we updated our Patreon. Andy did like a whole video about tiers, and we added all of these other tiers. Everyone gets the same content.
Yeah.
So it really is kind of like donation based.
Yeah.
And we got our first, I cannot believe this, I'm shaking with joy, $50 patrons.
It's insane.
Oh my gosh, it makes me so happy.
It's crazy.
Thank you so much. You know who you are. We love you and all of your money.
More human, more connected, more money.
Okay. Where to begin?
There's so much I want to talk to you about. It's kind of absurd. Can I get one thing out the way real quick?
Yeah.
And I feel really bad about this.
Okay.
House across the street situation that we've been talking about the last 2 episodes.
Yeah.
You look at me like you don't know what I'm talking about.
I don't.
Okay. I grew up St. Louis, Missouri.
Your childhood. I was thinking about here. Okay.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
You see the confusion.
A little bit. Kind of a big deal of something that we've been talking about, though. So, no, I'm actually going to stick on my side of the street here and say it seems weird that you don't know what it's talking about.
I'm so sorry. This is kind of meta because the whole thing is like your parents don't know what you're talking about. And now
yeah, this is.
don't.
I feel so triggered.
I'm so sorry.
Anyways,
yes.
The last 2 episodes I was talking about maybe something bad, creepy happened to me at this house, mysterious house across the street. So many of you amazing listeners reached out on how I could figure out who lived in the house. Then my childhood friend Pat hit me up, and he let me know
Yes.
Who it was. He sent me their website. I literally have not clicked on it yet because I've been weirded out by it.
Yeah.
And I meant to click on it before this episode so I could update people.
Did you talk to your parents?
No, and I also have not talked to my parents.
Okay.
So I'm slacking on that, but I think like
For emotional reasons, it
maybe,
seems.
yeah, it's weird. It's to me, yeah, it's weird that I haven't clicked on that link yet. But next week, I promise, I will dive deeper into this. So I just want to get that out of the way.
Great.
I have plenty to chat with you about. Do you want me to dive in,
Well,
or do you want to dive in?
I know one thing that's on the list, and I kind of want to lead the way into that.
Okay, let's see if we're simpatico.
Okay. Let's talk about addiction.
Glad you said it.
Well, okay. It's really interesting because of where I am in my life right now.
You know what? I'm just going to let you freewheel for a minute, and then listener, no, I'm going to jump in with so many corrections, so many caveats, and the realness. I'm just putting that out there, but I want you to have full reign for a moment here.
It's so funny because I ultimately am kind of a creature of habit, and I'm at this stage right now. I've gotten spat out from stability in my job for 3 years.
Yeah.
Into the abyss that comes as being a TV writer after you finish a job and you're just like, I don't know what's coming up next. coupled with the fact that there is a looming potential, very likely writer's strike in several months. So everything's kind of like come to a screeching halt anyway.
Let me also add in there, too, you came out of this 3-long stretch. You're also giving yourself a little you time, a little break, right?
I am. But, but I think actually just kind of yesterday I sank into the feeling, and you actually gave me permission to kind of do nothing. We're going on vacation. That's going to be a do nothing. And I do have work I should be doing, which is for a pilot. Hang on. This is a long way in. I know.
I just want to point out, there is no world anyone knows where this ends up. Like, that's what's so funny to me. There's none.
No world.
There is none.
Okay, but
if you were betting in Vegas.
So true.
Okay, go on.
Okay, so I'm just prefacing this by giving context to where I am in time and space. And actually, there's going to be something that's going to surprise you coming up.
Doubt it, but
okay. So last time I was here, actually, interestingly, I very much felt the same way, like, oh, I can finally relax. Well, it takes me like a week and a half. I will be doing nothing and looking visually like I'm relaxing, but inside I'm spinning out about what's next. What am I doing? I should be writing this other thing, but I truly do need some time to like decompress. And last time I kind of panicked. Do you know what I did?
Tell me.
I was driving and I saw like a laser hair removal clinic, and I drove over to the side, went in, signed me up for $1,000 package to remove hair that I don't even need removed on my upper lip. I don't even have hair there. Same deal. Like, I went and got laser hair removal on different parts of my body.
So these are telltale signs.
Telltale
laser
signs.
hair removal
is a sign.
Is a flag, if you will. A red flag.
Red flag. So the other thing is, I don't consider myself to have an addictive personality, really. I think there's alcoholism in my family. Everyone has their thing. My dad was like a really intense smoker until he finally quit.
What brand of smokes, by the way? Do you know? Do you remember?
I want to say Marlboro, but I'm not.
I don't think he was a Marlboro guy.
I should ask my sister if she remembers.
Yeah, I'd love to know.
But you know what I do remember very clearly?
The smoke.
My asthma. No, he had these abalone shells. Do you know what those are?
Yeah.
They're like these huge clams, basically. And the shells... What?
I'm sorry. I asked a smoking detail. We're getting off course. We got to get to the juicy main event here.
The shells are very beautiful on the inside, and those would be his ashtrays. Okay.
Great.
So, okay. I will say that in Vancouver on Valentine's Day, so it was it was the night of my last day shooting there. Mm-hmm. I ordered an old-fashioned room service because it was Valentine's Day, and you didn't love the idea of me sauntering in my disgusting all-day on-set clothes to a bar. I'm joking. You had it. You envisioned me in some sort of red slutty dress.
I know you're like I just wrapped. Gonna go to the bar, and I'm like, on Valentine's Day? No, that's your target.
So I ordered an old-fashioned, $30 for this goddamn drink.
You're really like, I mean, I guess this is relevant, but I feel like what are you doing right now?
This is all relevant.
Okay. I'm worried.
Well, I told you were going to be surprised by something, and you said
good.
I doubt it.
Okay, good. Just because nothing would surprise me, but let's go.
Okay, so since I have come home, I have had a drink pretty much every night.
Okay.
And sometimes 2 drinks. And I started to realize, I started to be like, ooh, I need that drink at like 5:30.
Okay.
And kind of like for the first time in my life being like, whoa, I could see this blossoming into a potential problem. And I have pulled the reins in. I mean, but it actually, for the first time in my life, now, dessert, obviously, or sugar, that's a whole different ballgame. But with alcohol, I've never had to be like, ooh, I want a drink so bad, and I'm not letting myself have it.
Okay.
I did do that. I have reset. However, right at the time I reset,
Okay.
something else came into our lives.
It sure did.
And I feel like an addict.
You're behaving like an addict.
Okay. It's okay. Go ahead and you can take it from here.
I mean, is the setup of it? I mean, basically, shout out our good friend Mike.
Yes.
He hooked us up with a PlayStation 4. Just so generous.
We should say, like, our friends don't go around giving PlayStation 4s away.
Why not? It's an awesome thing to.
Can I plug his
say.
show?
Probably. I don't know.
He has a show coming out called Twisted Metal.
Based on the classic PlayStation
game. And so he's filthy with PlayStations.
And he donned one on our front stoop. And so that's a very exciting thing in our house because, we like to play video games. We like to play Nintendo and whatnot from time to time. So we set it up, and there's like some subscription service called PlayStation Plus, and I opted for the premium.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, which it was like $100 for the whole year.
Oh, wow.
And there's like 700 games you have access to. And I was like, that seems like a fun way to do this instead of going out and buying like 2 games, spend $100, and then we'll download some games that are on this thing.
Yes.
So I get on the internet. What are some fun games included in PlayStation Premium? And one of the games that I was surprised to see was a game that you may have heard of called Tetris. And I'm like, oh, I'll download that. That's fun. And also thinking like that's fun to show to the kids.
Yes.
Anyways, it's this new like revamped Tetris. It feels very immersive. It has some new stuff to it.
Next.
Crazy
level.
graphics, crazy
beautiful music. Like the whole experience is incredible. And I will say, I played Tetris as a kid a lot.
Yeah.
And I think it is really good, as much as I'm sure you're about to get into the hours spent. And our kids, I think, have lost their mommy to this game. And
Yes,
so in order to get time with mommy, they will play some Tetris. And I think it's really good. It's a really good brain game.
When you say play Tetris, you mean watch mommy play Tetris?
No, they play too. But go ahead.
I don't want to miss any things in case this is a important artifact for us to revisit.
Oh no!
I think Otis and I like played it first, and I think you saw us playing it. And we're like, what is that? And was I just like, oh, it's this like cool new Tetris game. But we're playing it very casually, right? But
I know, and honestly, it was a
what
fork in the road. I could have just walked into the bedroom and continued folding laundry or doing whatever I was doing.
What made you stop?
Nostalgia.
Gotcha. Okay. So we then, the first day, we're like, oh, let's do a battle mode where there's like 2 Tetrises up on the screen. You and I each have a controller, and we do it. And I think you were instantly hooked.
Yeah.
Because it was like, okay, that's
it's
fun.
Like,
and you're like, let's do another one.
They say that about like meth, or is it ice? Like just don't do it because you have no idea how good it's going to feel and how much you're going to need it.
And what is crazy about this, everyone knows what Tetris is. This is on steroids. There is something insane about it. But so the first night we keep playing. Now it's time for the kids to go to sleep. We put them to sleep. As soon as they're in bed, Elizabeth walks up to me and goes, we're playing more. And I was like, okay, cool. And so we play more that night.
Yeah.
Seems fun. We're just having a fun Tetris night.
Yes.
It's not till the next day that your journey really began.
Okay.
Do you want to take a little from here and I'll keep you honest?
Yeah, it's funny because it's kind of a puzzle game, right?
Yeah.
And I get the same feeling with when I'm doing a jigsaw puzzle. It's like I cannot think about anything else. I definitely felt this way about Zelda Breath of the Wild. And I'm really curious to talk to my sister. Do they have a PlayStation? Because she kind of shares she shares this quality of needing and wanting to do it.
Yeah.
And she loved Tetris too.
Oh, wow.
And are we able to?
Okay. Just, can you play with your sister online? Maybe. Jesus Christ. You just looked so excited for a minute doing the math on that in your head. Oh my God, I could play with my sister. Jeez. Okay. Okay, wait. Before we go there, I want to revisit one quick thing on the first night. This is my only win, I think, in this whole story.
Oh, you were way better.
And I was doing really well. And I feel, am I wrong here, that I felt a little bit of surprise watching me that first game? And then did it turn you on a little bit? Because it seemed like you were so like, oh my God, Daddy's good, like to the kids. But I did feel this like maybe it was a turn on for you. Was that at all, or am I reading into that wrong?
I was surprised. I love that you're very good at it. I do. I mean, I wouldn't say in that moment, I was like, when I was saying Daddy's good to the kids, I was like, whoa. But I mean, it doesn't hurt things for sure.
Okay.
But
Anyways.
Here's what I also want to say. I'm curious, like, you are so good at it in a natural way that, and for people who are, for all the somebodies and nobodies, this gets really fast. Like the blocks come down at a speed that just boggles the mind. And Andy's able to navigate this. And I'm like, is it the ADHD? Like, is your brain synapses firing in a way?
Oh, who knows?
I don't know. But anyway, I was very impressed. Okay, so the next day, woke up, got the kids off to school.
You went to school, and this is my bad. This is my wrongdoing.
No, it wouldn't have mattered, but it was very touching. I came home, and you had given me, when I said you gave me permission, I have been like, oh, I should be doing stuff. I have this kind of not even low level, medium level anxiety about not doing anything. And you were like, take a couple days. Like,
Yep.
And, marinate on the ideas for the thing you're supposed to work on, but don't worry about like sitting down and getting work done.
Yeah.
So that permission was very helpful. And I do need to take some time to like let my brain just numb out. And what better way to do it than I came home from dropping the kids off at school and you had the PlayStation up on our TV. The music was playing. Like I walked in and it was like,
calling you.
And so I got started. And I probably played for 7 hours.
I think
More?
I wrote 6 hours, but 7 hours feels right. You went so hard.
Yeah. Do you want to know something? That night when I went to sleep, it was like, it wasn't like I was dreaming about it, but it was like I was playing in my brain.
I've had that too since this journey began.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, it's kind of fun, actually.
It is. It's kind of nice.
So you had that one 7-hour day.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the night, this sounds so weird because this is starting to sound like a gamer podcast. Once a week, I play this dumb game called Rocket League with my brother and two of my best friends. It's trucks, and you play soccer in trucks. Great. And while I was playing, I get a text from you. This is the 7-hour day.
Oh, right.
Hey, can you come inside real quick? The PlayStation's really, really hot. Like, I think you thought something was going to catch on fire.
I did, and there was honestly, to be totally honest, so you had set up, we have under our TV like a cabinet that has doors that close.
Yeah.
And it's where we have like our cable box and our Apple box and everything kind of stacked on each other.
Yeah.
And you had stacked them all on top of the PlayStation.
Probably not smart.
And all the cords are in the back, and basically it seemed like the cords were all tangled now on top of the PlayStation where the like fan vents.
Yeah, it was getting.
And I literally walked by and I was like, felt heat coming from the closed cabinet, and I opened it and it was like a waft of heat, and also that kind of like electric smell, electronics.
Totally.
So, yes, I was worried that an electric fire was going to begin because I had put that PlayStation through its paces.
So I walk in real quick, and you're just like sitting on the floor next to it. And one, I'm like, you could have figured out how to, like...
No, I couldn't.
Okay, fine, fair enough. But you were sitting on the floor next to it, looking defeated, probably waiting for me longer than you wanted because I was in the middle of a game. And... you just looked defeated, and I was like, oh, shit, yeah, like, we got to fix this tomorrow. I put it on my to-do list to fix it, and I showed you how to turn it off. We turned it off. I don't know what happened to you because then I left. What I do know that happened the next morning is I take the kids to school, and I'm like, oh, when I get home... I might as well just fix the PlayStation real quick because I'm like, I don't want a fire in our house.
Moving it.
Moving it. So I walk into our garage to grab the box that it came in because I'm like, I think there was a stand in there that I can set it up vertically or something. I walk into the house with the PlayStation box, and you're playing the fucking game again.
Yeah.
You thought it was going to catch fire. We agreed this is a dangerous situation. The next morning, I come in to fix it. I can't fix it because you're mid-game. That is addict behavior. That is risky business.
Well,
and it really, I'm being completely honest with you.
Yeah.
That's the moment where I was like, oh shit. Like that seemed pretty crazy to me.
like I'm jonesing right now to go play it after this. And I'm craving it. I want it.
This was also the night of the almost fire, if you will. And me being like, okay, we'll fix it tomorrow. You said, I'm not even going to play tomorrow. You said
I did.
those words. Then you turned on the fire hazard first once I walked out the door.
Well, I knew it had cooled off overnight. And I thought, well, it got 7 hours of exercise yesterday and it didn't actually start a fire. So
you were doing, like, that is addict behavior.
Yeah. I mean, it is. I do feel like it. Because everything I'm going to say sounds so bad. But I'm like, I just want to get to a certain level and then I'll even out. Then I'll stop obsessing about it.
Yesterday, you went and got the kids from school. And then I came into the house around 6, and they're just sitting there watching you playing. And I was like, what world... Mama gets home with the kiddos after school, walks in the door, and is like, okay, guys, put your stuff away, and then you can watch me play Tetris. Like, they were not playing, and it seemed very clear that they weren't. Did you tell them they weren't allowed to play or something? Because it just seemed like this was your time to play, which was utterly confusing. And then our son at one point is like, I really just want to play the tennis game because he's just been like jonesing because you're hogging the machine. And I was like, yeah, we can play the tennis game. And like, we play a couple games and then you chime in like, but we're playing Tetris soon next, right? And I'm like, just let him play a little tennis for a second.
Well, yeah. I don't know how to turn it off. I do kind of feel like maybe I just need to give it a few more days,
yeah,
and then
I think
it'll fade. Honestly, it's going to start to get so hard for me that it won't be that fun anymore.
I don't know, though. That's what keeps you coming back. I mean, you just cleared that level that you were trying to clear.
But like, okay, today our kid is home from school sick. I'm not going to be playing.
You're going to play a little bit at some point. I know you are. Sure.
But no, but I do hear you. And by the way, we've had this thing for like 4 days. I don't want us to be playing video games at all during the week. I mean, this has been more of a novel thing, and because my addiction has taken hold,
yeah.
like
maybe we won't play after school today.
I don't think it's a good idea to start that. It's not. Yeah.
Yeah, we've been playing it right before. It's like, kids, you want to get ready for bed? Let's play an hour of Tetris.
They're probably having the thing happen when they're...
Okay, well, It is. I don't know if you've even captured your obsession with it, but like
Is
I've
there
watched
Gamers Anonymous? I mean, I'm
Oh, there must be.
I'm not saying I'm
Yeah,
saying
yeah.
that not I don't truly believe I will need to go to Gamers Anonymous, and I've been here before. I mean, we've talked about this Breath of the Wild, Zelda, like
Yeah.
some occasionally things like this take hold, and it's interesting because it seems like they come into my life at a certain time.
Yeah, maybe when you have time to do them. But Breath of the Wild, I haven't played it, but they're both video games. But there is something different about these two beasts a little bit, because this is like Tetris is a thing, and this one's so stimulating.
Well, I think honestly, to me, the feeling is not really that different.
Okay.
Because when I was in the throes of Zelda Breath of the Wild, I mean, hopefully I faked it enough, but I was sort of like, okay, I got to get these kids to bed. So then, like I was just waiting for my next hit of
Yeah.
it. But the difference is that this Tetris I'm playing on our home TV. Everyone can see it. Zelda Breath
can't
of
hide
the
it.
Wild is on my Switch. Like I can go just lay in bed, and it's not as like what I'm experiencing is not as kind of apparent to the outside person.
Okay.
Whereas this is obviously like a big performance.
Yeah.
So, and I get through Zelda, and then I'm like, actually, the last time I played, I didn't even finish the game. I got like far enough to where it started.
Because you'd already played it and finished the game once. You'd already clocked 100 hours. Then when you decided to play again, you clocked 50 hours.
It is so interesting, though, that like this is tapping into this kind of addictive thing that just doesn't happen to me very often. And I don't know.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it runs its course. Mm-hmm. Okay, I have some kind of upsetting news,
Oh,
but I thought it was really interesting.
okay. First of all, can I say real fast, are we getting into Health Corner?
We're getting to plane crash corner.
Oh, okay. Hang on just a second. Oof. It's weird that you say that because I spent the last 40 minutes kind of in that world. But
Just now?
yeah.
Talking about Tetris?
No, sorry. Not these 40 minutes. The 40 minutes before we started podcasting.
Oh, okay.
Health Corner, someone messaged what was the update with your thyroid. I never gave an update.
Oh.
I got like the full panel done. All of the, a lot of people messaged like, make sure you get this, this, and this. And I appreciated those because I made sure my doctor did like the whole thing.
Yeah.
Everything came out normal. So now, but like the fatigue and all of this other stuff that I'm experiencing, when I'm going to go to my OBGYN actually.
Okay.
I think it probably is hormonal, and like I'm in perimenopause, I'm on birth control, but I'm like, I need to start having those conversations about how hormones might be playing a role and what we can do.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's where I'm at with that.
Okay, that's great. So last week we mentioned, we were talking about intuition and we were talking about flying and stuff, and we mentioned that just really turbulent, kind of scary flight we had to the Republic of Georgia, and we mentioned how on the in-flight magazine, on the cover of it, was a story about a plane crash. That was like so they were like, that is so absurd. And I said, I wish I had a copy of that magazine.
Yes.
I didn't find a copy of it,
Oh.
but I was like, I should be able to look this up probably. So I figured out when we flew to Georgia, which was 2011.
And we should say this is the Republic of Georgia.
Yes, the Republic of Georgia. And so I'm like, let me just see. There can't be that many plane crashes around April of 2011. I know it's before that, right?
Yeah.
So I know it's like a small window. So I did some Googling.
Oh boy.
And I found this site that's like all of the plane crashes
Oh God.
in 2011.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Is this smart what you're doing?
I don't think it's that bad. I have assessed this, and this is just what's crazy about it. Many more plane crashes than I thought there would be. 0 in America and zero on any of the big
Commercial carriers
that we think of. Not so much the case in Europe and other parts of the world, but I'm going through this list and I'm looking for, some sort of like Eastern European, Russia, those kind of airlines or sites of the crash. And I'm like, okay, there's one. Boom. Okay, that could be it. When was that? Oh, no, that was after April. Keep going down the list. Oh, there's another one. Wait, there's another one. Of these 30, 7 of them were Russian crashes, which I just thought was a lot.
Well, having seen,
these old planes, I guess.
I don't mean to be, by the way, we should say this. Your parents lived in the Republic of Georgia for 6 years, 5 years. Loved it. Loved the people.
Yeah.
Loved the history there. And I will say, once we kind of settled in, like the khachapuri, do you remember that? The food there was
they
so
know how to
amazing.
fry some dough up there.
Having said that, it was my first time in a country that was like very close to having been affected by war. And this is like Russian Georgia border war.
Yeah, which was not that much earlier, like 2006 maybe.
Yeah,
that
it was
had
pretty
happened.
recent.
And still tense.
Still tense. There was a lawlessness there. And it started with the flight. I mean, that's what's funny is in hindsight, I'm like, well, of course that flight was that way. But, the fact that people were smoking on the flight might have been the pilots.
Yeah.
Then we get there first, like we are going to your parents' apartment.
Yeah.
We get settled. We're going out about in the world and we're crossing the street and we have the crosslight, like the little dude crossing. That's the universal sign of like, okay to cross.
Yeah.
And a car just comes flying through.
It almost clipped me.
Well, it did.
Yeah, brushed me.
Didn't it tear your pants?
I don't know.
Yes, it did. It literally, had you been one step behind where you were, you would have been possibly killed by this car. Literally just flew through a red light with someone crossing in front of it.
They don't care about stoplights.
And that was the vibe there. There was like, the rules don't apply anymore vibe.
Yeah.
All of these like buildings were all bombed out. There's rubble. It's like, it was to me, very depressing kind of vibe.
It was, and it was in a time. It's funny because when I've told people that where my parents lived in Tbilisi is the capital city, everyone's like, oh my God, I hear it's amazing. And I think there has been like a pretty cool rebirth there. And like there is some like cool old architecture that's there, then there is a lot of like, almost like more communist era kind of very just plain building architecture as well.
Yeah.
And then, and just like the aftermath of what they'd gone through in the early 2000s.
Yeah. And there was like, stray cats and dogs all over the place. And like, there was a weariness to the people, understandably. They've been through so much. But where was I going with this? Oh, the like lawlessness of it. I'm not surprised that during that time frame, that's the place where things were going awry, is my point.
I just thought, I was just blown away when I was like, can you imagine if we heard of 7 plane crashes in the U.S. in 1 year? Be like, seems like it's news.
Guys,
and maybe
we
there's
need to figure it out.
Maybe there's like little plane crashes and whatnot, but these were, not those. Anyways.
Okay, so
crazy.
Before this, I was tooting around online, and so there was a flight yesterday or 2 days ago that was going from I feel like somewhere in Texas to somewhere in Europe.
Yeah.
And it had in over Tennessee, it encountered severe turbulence.
Okay.
And the way it was described was a woman was like interviewed who was on the flight, that suddenly the plane, like out of nowhere, the plane went up really fast. You know, that feeling of where, and then it dropped for 5 full seconds, just dropping.
Jesus.
Which when you count 1, 2, 3,
That's you're going to die feeling.
4. Yes. And she did say she's pregnant, and she was like, God, just let me get through this so I can meet my baby. And the pictures of the flight were, there's trays, food everywhere because they're in the middle of meal service. So everything like floated up off of, whatever.
Yeah.
And then it landed safely in Washington. A few people were injured, nothing serious, it seems like, luckily. But then, so our friends actually who brought us the PlayStation, shout out Mike and Nan, were on a flight to Hawaii in December, and they were told, like, please buckle up because there's going to be pretty intense turbulence. They luckily had a smooth flight, but it's because the flight in front of them was the flight where there were like 20 people.
Yeah, that one made the news.
So basically, then that sent me on this, and I've been unclear about, is it just because now I've clicked on these links that these stories are getting populated to me?
Yeah.
Or is this just happening more frequently? Now, granted, more frequently, like I've said, there are however many thousands of flights taking off from however many thousands of airports, and we're hearing about one every couple months or something.
Yeah.
But still, for someone like me, what it creates is this thing of when I get on a flight, my fear, fight or flight, is kicking in the entire time because these situations of turbulence, this is the other thing that actually makes me comforted, is the technology to avoid turbulence and know where it's coming from and is getting way, way, way better.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
So usually when it hits, it's called clear air turbulence. And it's out of nowhere. It's very rare, but there's no way to
find it yet, or they don't
plan
know.
for it. That's why you should always have your seatbelt fastened when you're sitting. And so that makes me, when I'm on a flight, just thinking, and by the way, I read something you're 26 times more likely to die on a roller coaster than you are
on a plane?
Yes.
Okay.
From turbulence. So not just on a plane, on a turbulent plane.
Oh, okay.
So even better odds.
Okay.
It's almost there. You do not, but that doesn't really comfort me when the turbulence itself is the thing I'm so scared of. It's not even necessarily dying from it. It's I have such a fear of this, and I don't know how to get past it. But the things that gave me comfort, well, here's what's not comforting. The climate change is causing more turbulence, and I think by 2050, there are going to be 3 times more experiences of severe turbulence.
Ugh.
But
God.
Keep in mind that means instead of one every 3 months, there's one a month out of however many millions of flights. It's still...
And hopefully they'll be better at the tech.
Okay, so that's the good news, is that the tech is getting better. They're even looking at the way birds adjust their wings for turbulence, having airplanes that will automatically kind of, adjust for things. And
Yeah.
So hopefully the technology will meet this situation, but I don't know how to get past this.
Listen,
I literally was reading this and I was like, oh God, you and I want to live in France for a few years. What if our kids go to college elsewhere?
Yeah.
One of our kids wants to live in Japan at some point. I'm it's a lot of boat rides.
Yeah.
A lot of cross-country trains.
Maybe it's worth, I don't know. Some people obviously take a drug when they get on flights. You could become one of those people. You could talk to our doctor about that.
Yeah.
I do think as much anxiety as you have about it, it's never once stopped you in your tracks from flying, right? You always get through it. It's not a pleasurable experience.
Yeah, I do get through it. But what I will say is I think it's maybe hasn't stopped me. It might stop me from going places. I really have to weigh the pros and cons. And, there have been times where we've been maybe we could fly out to Vegas real fast. And I'm that having 2 days in Vegas or 3 days, which we love to do. We have fun.
Yeah.
That's another place that my kind of little fix
Oh, yeah.
kicks
It's
in.
very similar.
But I'm like, I can't enjoy, if we fly there, even though it's a 45-minute flight, it is usually a little bumpy flying into Vegas. And now I know why. It's because the heat from the ground is like, as the ground warms up in the daylight, it comes up to meet where the plane is. And that air has like a different quality than the air pushing down on the plane.
Yeah.
And, but the 2 or 3 days that we're in Vegas, have this anxiety about getting on the flight home that makes it not worth it to me.
Oh, yeah.
So, not that I'm not going to Vegas is like huge.
We've talked about my grandpa before that was in a plane.
Yes.
He was in a plane crashed in the war.
In what war? Korean War?
I can't remember. I got to ask my parents, and
War.
I'm curious more about the details of it too. But he was just like, "That's it, fuck that." Like he was just like, "I'm done with planes." And
He literally never got on a plane.
Yeah,
So
he
where
just
did he
didn't.
live?
Well, they were in Colorado, but like his wife, Betty,
Yeah.
loved to travel, and so she actually did a lot of her traveling in her later years solo or with friends without him because he was just like, I can't do it.
Well, there is something like, this just an hour ago, me thinking like, well, I'm glad we live here. Like we have our cabin. We can go up to one of our happy places, Ojai. Like
Yeah.
we have access to, and Mexico is not a crazy drive away. There's,
Yeah.
but I'm starting to justify it. But it is kind of like, makes you feel a little bit lonely. And especially when you start thinking about our kids, like our kids are going to want to branch out and be out in the world. And
there's this very famous record producer named Benny Blanco.
Yeah.
You might know him from, he's on that series Dave.
yeah.
But huge record producer. He doesn't do planes. So when he worked with Ed Sheeran, they took a cruise boat from wherever East Coast all the way over to Europe.
I mean,
they took a boat.
That
to
might
get there.
be in my future. I'm just saying this right now. Like plane or not planes, trains, boats.
I don't listen. Okay, this is a great example. Flying to London, what is that? From New York, like
It's
an
an
8-hour
10-hour flight.
10-hour flight versus like,
from LA, it's
like
a
a
10-hour flight.
week-long boat ride. I don't want to be on that fucking boat. I'm way more scared on the boat. Oh, not for me. No boats.
Oh God. Well, I guess
Are we trained people?
but I want to go to Europe.
We might get like really familiar.
I want to go to Africa again and go on safari and,
We're gonna have to fly. Okay.
Okay.
This
Just drug me, honestly, like knock me out, wake me up when it's over.
maybe. I guess you should try the. What do
Maybe-
people take? What's the drug that people usually
I
take?
don't know, but you know what? I am going to my doctor again in May, and I am going to talk to him about this. And maybe this will be the cure all, and I just need something to take the edge off.
Yeah. Okay, one quick question, and then we were at some friend's house a few days ago.
Yes.
And drinking.
Yeah.
And at one point you said, I wish you did my hair more. And it was one of the weirdest things you've ever said to me.
Wait, what was
And
the context?
I don't know. I think I might have just like put my arm around you and then like scratched the back of your head or something. And you kind of drunk was like, I wish you did my hair more. And I didn't even engage you because I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? What did you mean by I wish you did my hair more? I've never once done your hair. I didn't know you want it did or done. Do you remember that moment at all?
I vaguely remember it now. That is so funny. And by the way, I didn't get like silly drunk or anything. I was drunk, I would say, but like the beginnings of being drunk. And then,
Yeah.
so it's not like I was slurring this, like,
Oh, yeah, no, you were with it. Yeah.
yeah. I think I had a kind of like memory of like my dad used to do mine and my sister's long hair. And I remember we got Pantene conditioner and it was like a game changer because we always had tangled hair and he would brush it out. And
Where was your mom during this?
she would do it too.
But
But
he was
it
was
was
the guy.
kind of his thing for a while when we were little. Like
Okay.
post bath time,
He'd brush
get
it out.
out,
Yeah, yeah.
he'd be brushing out. And there's something really not sexually, obviously, but like intimate.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I was thinking, and as we're talking about it now, like, I would like you to brush my hair. I would. I just want to see what that's like. I think it came out in a funny way.
Wet hair or
Well, now I don't really brush my wet hair, so it would have to be dry hair. I'm just curious about what that sensation would be like.
But you also like just know too. Like,
I said
be
I wish
careful saying that kind of stuff at parties. I don't think anyone heard it. You weren't like announcing it to everyone. It was an aside to me. But
I think
just-
there was
we don't
enough
need,
going
we don't
on.
need to be talking about like you wanting me to brush your hair. I guess maybe it's totally appropriate.
Honestly,
it just
Andy,
seemed
there
kind
was
of weird.
There was so much going on at that party. Like that's the least of our concerns.
Can we
you
say?
look over in one corner and our,
Can we say one thing which I don't think our friends would mind if we said because we'll keep it completely ambiguous.
yes.
There was an older couple making out, and when I say older couple, 70s.
Making out.
It was so awesome.
So yeah, me saying I wish you did my hair more is like so low on the list of what's happening there.
That's
Yeah.
true. Yeah, that's true.
I have just something to ask you about.
Yeah, please.
And I think we can wrap this up.
Yeah.
Recently, when you went away,
To Boise?
I think it was when you were in Boise.
Okay.
There was a crazy amount of quarters on your nightstand.
Yeah.
Why?
Hold on. There's a reason.
I was like, are you doing laundry elsewhere? Like, is this for the laundromat?
No. No.
Do you need it for parking meters somewhere that you're going to?
I do like to, sometimes I will remember to like, I have like a little Ziploc baggie of quarters in my car. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I do remember to refill that. So it could have been that. But I remember what you
Everything
were
is
talking about.
automated now, though.
But not, there's one neighborhood near us that sometimes it isn't.
Okay.
Oh, that's going to drive me insane. It's probably just for the car.
Okay.
But there might have been another reason.
Well, I put them in our change holder.
Oh, so I didn't do anything with them.
Right.
Now, boy, I'm going to need them at some point, and I don't even remember why.
Okay. Well, with that, Jem,
Oh, my gosh.
let's go have you brush my hair.
Maybe when we're out of town.
Ooh, fun.
Can I be honest with you?
You don't like it?
No,
I won't call you daddy or anything weird.
I'm not. That's so weird. You know what? I wish I was more like I'm excited to do that for you. But just how you brought it up, there's something weird about it. Now knowing the history,
Okay.
I don't know why I'm not super excited to do it for some reason. I can't even put my finger on it, but we're gonna do it. And the fact that we're gonna do it also makes me feel slightly emasculated somehow.
Emasculated?
Because I don't want to do it, and I'm going to do it. And it's brushing your hair. Do you know what I mean? Like there is this weird, I can't quite.
Okay, well now it's turned into more about how this experience is going to go for you. So
Oh, stop. Don't pull that shit. But you know what? I will totally try it because what if you love it? And I'm like, oh, this is fun. I'm fucking brushing Elizabeth's hair.
okay.
Yeah, I brush her hair all the time. I love doing it. And she loves it.
First I weigh her, then I brush her hair.
I got a whole routine.
Joking, obviously. So I wanted to tell everyone, again, a reminder, if you want to support the show, we'd love your support.
Oh, yeah.
Patreon.com/Nobody's Listening Right. You get a free bonus episode every month. Plus, next weekend, Sunday,
Sunday.
March 12th
Yeah.
at 3:30 p.m.
Yeah.
We are going to do a Mario Kart showdown somehow. Andy's
Yeah.
going to figure it out. So check us out on patreon.com/nobody's listening right to enjoy our Mario Kart shenanigans.
Yeah, and we're going to hopefully make it so all the patrons can play against us, too.
Yes.
Yeah, we want to
And
make
then-
that clear.
And then also check out Andy's very fun video clips of this show at Instagram/nobody's listening right. And also the entire episode is available video-wise on youtube.com/at nobody's listening right.
Hey!
All right. Good night.
Good night.
Nobody's listening, right?